Hey everybody. Today I got in a question that I wanted to discuss with you about how much you should share with the guy that you just started dating. Now, the woman who sent this question in she didn't give me an idea of how long they had been, how long this woman has known this guy. All she says is that she has a friend that, quote, met a guy and that she likes, and she wonders if she should ever tell him that she was molested and raped as a child. She seems to feel as though her value as a woman would be better if she never told him. So she wanted to know, what I thought about all that. And I have my usual thoughts. I mean, I really try to not necessarily tell you what to do, but what I want to do is kind of walk you through the steps that you should use to figure out if this is something that you should tell this particular gentleman or not. Okay? Because there are situations where it would be probably necessary to tell the guy that you're with, and I'll share those with you in a little bit. So the first thing I think you need to do is get into your own head. You need to ask yourself some real hard questions because, running off at the mouth and telling dudes all your personal business like that is not necessarily a smart thing to do. Now, I made the video about women sharing too much information. That video, however, was targeting women telling their man about a female family member or a female friend's business. Okay, because there's a lot of risks in that. So that video focused on that particular aspect. This one, we're talking about you sharing information about yourself. But still, there are some things that you really need to think about before you start mouthing off and telling these dudes all kind of personal stuff about yourself. The first thing you need to do is ask yourself why you believe that the man that you are merely dating, and in this case it sounds like she hasn't been dating him that long, needs to know such personal information about you. Why does he need to know that? Now, in one instance, as I said, if you're having some residual trauma, you're having problems sexually, you don't really want him touching, you have intimacy issues, and you have flashbacks or you PTSD from the situation, whatever, you would have to probably kind of explain that to him so he doesn't think that it's him. You see what I mean? But as an adult, you should have handled that. You should, even if the parents didn't really handle it correctly, you should have by taking yourself to see a therapist and work through that, because you deserve to have a whole and happy life, which includes a fulfilling sex life. And you're denying yourself that by hiding and thinking you can get over that trauma by yourself. And I don't think that's a good idea. And most people, if you're working or whatever, you got the Obamacare or whatever, you got some mental health benefits. A lot of places have groups that are very inexpensive on a sliding scale. Handle your business, okay? And, like I said, if you feel like you must tell them because you have some residual after effects from it, then definitely do that. But is that the case for most women? No. Okay, especially in a situation where you just start dating a dude. I mean, you want to tell him this, and you need to ask yourself why. Because what other thing, I mean, that seems like you're going from to Z, and when you should be at like A, B, and C in a relationship. Why would you need to go to that level of revelation of yourself when, he's trying to get to know who and what you are now? I mean, does dude even know your favorite color, your favorite food, your allergies? I mean, you know what I mean? There's so much surface stuff to learn about someone when you first meet them. Why do you feel like you have to go and tell him that? That would be kind of interesting. I don't get that. Okay, so then once you make that determination, you need to ask yourself, what is it that you hope to gain? Because we don't do anything in this world without an expectation of some kind of payoff or benefit in some way. Even if it's just to feel good, like we go and help out, we donate some stuff to the Salvation Army and we get a tax, receipt. Or we go and we volunteer to feed the homeless. Well, that makes us feel good to give back. Everything that we do there is an anticipated benefit or payoff of some sort. Now you need to be honest with yourself when you're getting ready to tell this man, blab all this stuff. What is in your mind that you think is going to be the payoff for you? Be honest. Be honest. This is not the time to dilly-dally around and act like you don't know what you're doing. You're doing this for a reason. You need to be very honest with yourself about what that reason is. Now, the benefits. I don't see where there are any, but you do you. Now, moving on, the third part of this, again, you're going to continue asking yourself these hard questions. You have to be prepared to handle the possible ramifications and consequences of this revelation. You think because you like this guy and he likes you that whatever you tell him is going to be okay, he's going to accept it. That is just a foolish way to think. These guys, a lot of them can't handle this kind of stuff. And he might really like you, but just think about you telling him this. He's going to have a lot of emotions about it, okay? He's going to feel certain things. Is he the kind of guy that's going to know how to handle those emotions that he's feeling, or is he going to want to run away from them? A lot of them will run, and it's not like they stopped liking you. They don't like to be around you anymore because of how what you told them made them feel, because they feel powerless. He can't do anything to change the past. There's no way he can't protect you. He can't put on a Superman cape and make it all go away. So he's like lost. He's confused. He's frustrated and angry. And those are all emotions that he's going to have to figure out how to deal with, as well as try to figure out how to deal with the emotions that you're having. You ladies, you got to think about this stuff a little bit deeper. You just want to purge your soul and just tell him all the stuff, but you're not thinking about what's going to happen once you tell him. And it's like you got to think. I mean, it's like life is like a chess game. You move A, they get to move over here. What are they going to do once you move A? You got to think of the possible ramifications. And a lot of you don't. You just want to talk. You just want to tell shit. And then you don't think about what the possible outcomes of that decision that you made is. And that's why I'm doing this video. Okay, so he shuts down, right? He shuts down emotionally. He shuts down mentally. He can't handle it. And he slowly backs away from you. It becomes difficult to talk to him. And then slowly then he's gone. He's gone out the relationship. Okay, that's one situation. Can you handle that? Because that happens a lot. Okay, the guy, especially if the guy is young and immature, or old and immature, or just stupid. All right. Then you got the ones who see you as damaged goods. They feel like in their mind they want a woman who's pristine and whose mind is all clear and who's open to loving them and being with them and who doesn't have any problems and all this stuff, right? They just want it to be smooth and easy. And if you come in the door telling them all this kind of stuff that's, was a problem, he's going to wonder how it's going to affect you and your relationship in the future. Okay? Because this is new, right? He hasn't had time to really bond to you yet. He's not really emotionally attached to you yet. He's at the point where he doesn't really need you. Okay, but you telling him this kind of stuff, that's, you taking a big risk of him just jetting because it's the easiest thing to do. He's going to go somewhere else with a woman who doesn't have that problem. Or if she does, she's smart enough not to tell him and not until way, way later. Okay. The third thing that you need to think about is he blames you for it. Can you handle that? And a lot of you think, well, why would he blame me? I was just a child. Think about it. A lot of women blame the little girls and teenage girls. Well, she must have liked it. He was doing it for so long and she kept letting him. She must have enjoyed it. She's fast. Why did she tell nobody? Blah, 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 blah. And they, not thinking about the fact that this is an adult male and this is a small child with a power imbalance, a physical strength imbalance, and a logical thinking imbalance. So he's going to know how to manipulate her mind and instill fears in her and control her without doing anything, just threatening her. Okay, they don't think about any of that. They just think about, well, this must be what, it's her fault. Somehow it's her fault. Are you prepared to handle being blamed for your own victimization? And as you ladies know, this happens. This is a widespread behavior pattern, not only amongst males but females too. And it goes through courts, through attorneys, even cops, and the people's husbands. It's in the church. I mean, people blame women for sexual assaults all the time. So please don't think that this is some kind of wild fantasy that I'm coming up with. I know you know this, but I just want to remind you that if you might be dealing with a dude who thinks like that, but see, you don't know him because you ain't been around him long enough and you haven't had time to feel out his mind and see how he thinks. You can't be doing this kind of stuff. Another way is you got to think about is, what if he's a freak and the shit turns him on? I know you don't think about that, but I think about stuff like that because there's a lot of dudes who are undercover pedophiles, or they may be active pedophiles and just haven't been caught yet. So you do a background check, you thinking you trying to find out if he's a pervert or something, but as long as he hasn't been arrested, he hasn't been charged with any crime, it won't show up. That doesn't mean he's not a molester. Okay, that doesn't mean he has to have kitty porn on his computer. It doesn't mean he doesn't like, get sexually excited by children. It doesn't mean any of that. So without you knowing how this dude thinks or any, his habits or whatever, you telling him this kind of stuff, he gets to live vicariously through the person who raped or molested you in his mind. So you know how you going to know? Because he's going to keep asking you about it. He's going to keep talking about it. He's going to want to know all the details. And that shit makes his dick hard. So you better watch, you know what I mean? You think about this kind of stuff. I know people say, you crazy, you come up with crazy stuff. Hey, I'm just real. I'm just telling you, this is a reality of what's going on in our society. These dudes they're married and have kids of their own, and then they get busted for kitty porn or trying to creep over to some 12-year-old girl's house with condoms and drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. You used to see that TV show. And the shit, you did in the newspaper. They had a big case about it down here in San Jose a few months ago, where they busted all these dudes in their 40s and stuff, married with kids in college, and over there trying to, hook up with some 11-year-old and all this old stuff. Freaky, nasty perverts. So, just think about that. What if he is the kind who criticizes your feelings about it? Criticizes how you handled it emotionally, psychologically. The fact that you still have the feelings about it. Instead of being supportive and empathetic, he criticizes you. Well, why are you still talking about that? That happened so long ago. Why are you still upset? You should have handled that. That shouldn't have nothing to do with what's going on between us. Man. Okay, can you handle that? Because that is also even if he doesn't say it, he's going to be thinking it. He's going to be resentful because it causes him to have to do extra work to not only deal with his feelings, but to deal with yours and, try to get you guys past that. Unless the guy is emotionally invested in you because he's been around you for a while, and you guys are all in love and whatever. he doesn't really have any reason to stick around you and deal with that. He's going to see that it's just too much work. And then once he starts criticizing you, it's over. It's a wrap. Because a guy who really cared wouldn't criticize you and blame you for what happened to you as a child in any way, shape, or form. But if he makes one comment, just one, do not brush that shit off. Understand what time it is. He is not, you made a mistake. And he is somebody that it's just not going to work. It's over. It's a wrap. Now, another thing that they do is, so here you are, right? And you told him this stuff. Well, now that's going to be the source of all problems. Every single thing that happens that's a problem in your relationship is because of that molestation and, the fact that you never got over it. He's going to blame that for everything. That's going to be no matter what happens, somehow it's related to that, and it's because you didn't get over it, and this is why. This is the problem. Okay. And then the last one on my list is that this is a man that you just really met, right? So you don't really know how he's going to handle it. So you tell him this stuff, right? So you guys, he breaks it off. He can't handle it. Please understand that he's going to run around and tell people. He's He's gonna run around and tell people. He's gonna tell his boys, and some of his boys might know some of your friends or family or whatever. And then he's gonna tell his family members, and then it's gonna, it could get back to somebody like at your church or at your school or at your job, or it's gonna be posted up online. I mean, you have no control. Once you share this information, it's out in the public, and now, people know. In a situation like this with a guy that you don't really have much information on, you have no idea how he's going to use this information, who he's going to tell, and what the possible repercussions are for you. Even though, like I keep saying, it's not your fault. You didn't have anything to do with it. You're not the criminal here. The person who victimized you is a criminal, because that child molesting is a criminal act. Okay, that person committed a crime. They're the one that's wrong here. But that doesn't mean that there's not some risk inherent in you oversharing with people that can't be trusted. You haven't given yourself time to vet this individual yet, to know what his story is and how he keeps confidences. Okay? And especially if you have a bad breakup, they have these like revenge websites. Dudes post naked pictures of their girlfriends that they took, and videos of them screwing that they took, and all kind of, their name. I mean, you got to be careful these days what you let dudes do because of the social media. So those are all things that I wanted you to think about. I mean, this is these are very real risks that you face as a woman, when you growing up. You had these traumas happen to you as a child. My recommendation is, like I said, that you seek some counseling. Group therapy, I highly recommend it. You might have to go to 2 or 3, interview the group leader and see if their person and the people in the group are to your liking. But I'm telling you, it can be extremely healing to be in an environment where people have experienced what you've experienced, understand where you're coming from, and can help you heal as you help them. It's a very, very rewarding and beneficial situation. And, I did a group after Hubs died, and it was, all women. Most of them were, like in their 60s. But, you just being with people who understood your tears and the sense of loss and all that stuff, it was very healing for me. And I can't recommend group enough to people who need to heal. And it's great, you can tell your friends, you can tell your family, but unless they are qualified mental health professionals, which some of them might be, they're not really equipped to handle you. All they can do is listen. Listening might be good at first, but you need somebody who can help you work through that and get to the other side, because you deserve to have a happy sex life. If you find that this is holding you back, it's causing you fears, and you jumpy around men and stuff like that, there's something there that you need to work on, and you need some help. And I highly recommend that you go and get it. Okay, don't live your life being unfulfilled sexually and emotionally because of a trauma that happened to you as a child when you were too young to defend yourself. Okay, that wasn't your fault. There's nothing you could do to undo that, but what you can is fix it here and now, so that as you move forward, you can enjoy the life that it is yours to have. You deserve it. Okay, and you should have it. You got to do something to help yourself. That does not mean telling every dude that you date all about your situation. Hold some cards you really need to hold close to your vest, and that's, to me, is one of them. Now, you get married, you have a husband, you tell your husband about it. You can cry on his shoulder, he can hold you, and whatever. That's different. That man has made a commitment to be with you for life. Okay, so, but these dudes you just met, this dude you've been kicking it with for 90 days, 6 months, even a year or two, that's not long enough. Those relationships break up too quick. And then this person has all this personal information about you. And why did you tell him? I mean, what was the point? All right. Now, some of you may disagree, and that's fine. You can put your 2 cents in the comment section, but it ain't going to change shit about what I think. Deb Cooper from SurvivingDating.com. I'll talk to you guys later. Deb Cooper here. Thanks for listening to the video. Now that you've had the opportunity to hear some of the grade A content available on the Deaf Tourism channel here on YouTube, it's my hope that you become a subscriber and participate in this venue regularly. To do that, click the subscribe button. You'll then see a little bell symbol. Click that, which will send notifications directly to your telephone. That way you'll be one of the very first people to know when I've uploaded a new video, so you can be one of the first to come on by, to listen to it, to comment, and then to share. And please remember, all of these videos are informative, and I try to make them as funny as I can as well. So please share a link or two with your friends, because every woman deserves to get up on game.